you are software engineers, data engineers. Basically, you do a lot of engineering. Okay, thank you. Designers in the house. Okay, marketers, maybe? Marketers. 2, cool. Startup founders. 3, 4, awesome. Non-tech role, non-tech. Got you. All right, thank you all for indulging. My name is Akweley, Abena, Okai, and I'm here to share with you on a topic that's close to my heart, the data that we don't collect. So for the engineers here, it looks like you are the majority in here. There's just one bag that sometimes makes you question your life choices, right? That bag it passed all the tests, it passed all the validation processes. Quality assurance said it's a go. You shipped it, you pushed it to production, and yeah, she can relate. Yeah, so usually what happens, or sometimes one of the cases of what happens is probably a user somewhere, your app was supposed to probably be a facial recognition, but someone is using it for something completely different. And it's because you are not collecting that part of the data, you don't know exactly what your product is doing. And sometimes because of that, it crashes, or because of other reasons best known to you. And today I'm here to talk to you about the data that we don't collect, and we'll talk about the problem, why that's a problem. We'll talk about the pattern, the cause and effects, and I'll share with you some of the tips that helped me to collect more data. Who am I? My name is Akweley Abena Okai, like I said. I'm not basically from tech, so non-tech. We are on the same, not on the same, but I mean, you get what I mean. Yeah, I did biochemistry. I worked in a research lab for about 4 years after my undergrad. And I went to a software entrepreneurship school to basically get used to software engineering, data design. I did design as well at some tech hubs in Ghana. I'm from Ghana, West Africa. And currently I'm a community builder, a GDG Accra organizer in Accra. We just organized the first Accra. We had a virtual session which I moderated, and an in-person, which was really great. We are 50 years in Accra, hooray. And I'm also a Women Tech Makers ambassador. I basically help young people to get to know about tech, especially those who are looking to transition into tech as well. And in all this, one thing that I do that is very close to my heart is the biggest logo you can see is in black, Beaver. So Beaver is a skin analytics and product recommendation tool. It's currently a project because we have not yet registered, but we basically found out a need that there's a lot of data about skincare in the market, but some of it is skewed and it's not generalized. Basically, some of us are ghosts in some of your tools, yeah? Have you ever used a product that just wasn't made for you? How would you feel, actually, if Apple, for those who use an iPhone, shipped a facial recognition tool, and it was based on data from 80% of people around the world, and because of that, you were logged out of your own phone? Anyone emotions? Popcorn it. You were logged out of your phone. How much does an iPhone cost? And you just get logged out of your phone. The data that we don't collect has an effect on lives. Since I'm in the skincare domain, I'm going to talk about a case study, one of our test users called Maya. She's 40, she lives in Berlin. Now what happens is she has a scar on her face, and what she does in the age of AI is to ask AI. There are a lot of skin analytics and product recommendation tools in the market. She opens an app, takes a photo, gets a diagnosis. They say it's hyperpigmentation, and recommends a serum, a vitamin C serum, which goes to get in the market. However, that was not the case because she has like darker skin tone. It was misdiagnosed. 6 months later, she realized that the dark spot was growing, and unfortunately it was cancer, melanoma, stage 2. And because she went a step ahead to go to the dermatologist's office to do some treatments, she survived. She didn't die of cancer. However, the decisions that we make in our data generation processes or the tools that we build, it has life-threatening consequences on human beings. That's the point I want to make. And the pattern I keep seeing is, especially for startup founders, you have an idea, a brilliant idea. What you want to do is you call a couple of your friends, guys, let's build this, and then you ship. What they do is option A. Some of them just don't do enough research. You don't ask yourself, what data who is not in the room? Who are we ghosting in our system? So option B is something that I have tried and I've seen that it's something that really works. In the design process system, they call it design process. You have to do a lot of research. You have to do a lot of asking people, finding out who is not represented in the data that I am creating a model out of. And the numbers speak for itself. Since I'm in the skincare space, I'm going to talk about skincare. 70 to 80% of data sets are made up of lighter skin tones. So, which means if you are, now there's Dr. Monk's skin tone analysis, which is 10. Initially, it was just 4. It was just telling you that, okay, you are light, you are dark. But now we have a lot of data that, is improving the processes. But it means the people who just started using skincare apps will not have effective diagnosis for whatever skin conditions that they are faced with. And still in the skincare space, 3 times higher error rate for darker skin tones. What does this tell you? It tells you that we are ghosting people out of our systems and we need to be more intentional. There has to be some form of awareness in these processes. I would also do one last one for the business folks amongst us, 8% annual growth rate. So you know how much you are losing because you are not including people who you didn't do enough research to include in your model generation. And what did I find as the root cause? In the skincare space, there's a known scale called the Fitzpatrick scale. It's really known, widely used for a lot of the skin analysis and product recommendation tools all over. However, the reason it was even built was not even to just detect basic skin conditions. It was developed in the 1970s to measure sunburn risk in white patients. And what this means is if you are not, of a lighter skin tone, that means whatever the AI is going to generate or whatever recommendation is going to give to you is not going to be what is the case. And you probably need to do better. And if you have your daughter, your sister who usually uses social media, who swears by content creators, they are in trouble. That's what it means. And the ripple effect on health, on economic, I've already given you some instances. It basically allows us to not trust you, software engineers or founders. Community, how much does it take to convince a community to use a particular product? Let me use that question to explain a context to you. In the community that I come from in Ghana, for someone to use your app, right, first of all, they have to do a little bit of research to find out whether, okay, your app, is doing what it's saying is doing. Like, once they have internet, they can access it. If they don't have internet and they can't access your app, first of all, they're not going to use your app. So are you including, off-site kind of application processes? how are you making your app inclusive? So what happens when your tech doesn't see me is I stop trusting your technology. And we see it in instances where people have decided that, okay, a particular product, I'm not gonna use it anymore because they don't care about me. You stop trusting the company entirely. You tell your community that, guys, these people don't use them, and we go elsewhere. So you are losing people, you are losing customers, you are basically going to go out of business. And because we have a lot of products in the market, you are probably not going to be used for that particular demographic of people. So what this means is technology is a two-edged sword. It has the power to improve lives, but it can also destroy it. Like I gave the example that if you are logged out of your iPhone right now and you know that you have to be somewhere, you can't access anything, you can't access your money, you can't call your friends, you can't call your family, you are basically logged out of the phone that you made a payment for. That's a break of trust. And people's lives are destroyed by that. What inclusion looks like in the data process. So I just made some few steps of what it looks like in the auditing processes, procurement, testing, compensation. First of all, how many of you have shipped in the last week? Any products at all? I'm not going to judge you. Yeah, you have, okay. How many of you asked whose data I'm not including in this product? Nobody. Yes. So audit your software data, whatever you have, your models. Before you train your next model, ask, what's the demographic distribution of my training data? What's my model error rate across subgroups? Which people am I excluding? Which people am I ghosting out of my system? What edge cases am I not testing for? And ensure you document it, because the next person who comes and uses your code base is going to, their journey is going to continue from there. So once you document it, you make it visible and non-negotiable. The second step I call procurement. So I see a lot of founders who come to my country, and for example, if they are asking for data, they basically don't ask for consent. They just come, okay, I've taken a picture of you, I'm gonna use it for whatever. They don't even tell you what they're going to use it for. I've seen some people, you see online, some kids are playing, you don't know where they're coming from, but you don't really care, right? You don't see consent from their parents and all that. So when you buy or you source a data set, you have to ask the demographic breakdowns. What's the skin tone distribution if you are in the skincare space? How was consent obtained? What are annotators from diverse backgrounds? Who are you excluding? Who are you ghosting? I keep saying. And then the testing, add diverse test cases to your CI/CD pipeline. Not just does it work, but does it work for everyone really? And I know that's a difficult question to ask yourself, but at least awareness is something that is key in the process. Once you are aware, you are able to make progress. And I believe there's still room for better data training. And then finally, compensation. Like I said, when it comes to consent, it's very important that you seek consent from the people that you are using for your data processes, especially if you are selling it or you are making money out of it. Don't demand, compensate fairly. Build partnerships and give communities ownership of how their data is used, because trust is earned. And like I said, if someone comes to you, use your product and the person doesn't feel that you care enough, they're going to go somewhere else. And yeah, every data set is a vote. So think about it. All the data set that you use every single day, you're literally voting who is in and who is out. Yeah, that's exactly what is happening. So I'm going to wrap up with some of the tools and frameworks that help. Like I said, Google's research is improving. We have the Monk tone analysis. And for model reporting, there's model cast for model reporting. And then there's this book that I found recently online that I think is really helpful, the Algorithmic Justice League, for those of you who want to do more inclusive data sets. I also have some resources for the startups here. I think I saw a few. I just joined Notion Partners Program. So this link gives you access to 3 months free Notion Business with unlimited AI. So if you're interested, I'm going to give a few more minutes or seconds for you to just take a scan or take a picture or whatever you want to do so that you can get access to it. I think it's really good. It's a really great resource. And of course, I would like that you connect with me on LinkedIn and let's continue the conversation, because I believe that the quest to data sets inclusivity is a long way to go, and we all need to be involved. We all need to play a part in it. If you have to ask a question about your data sets tomorrow at your stand-up, kindly do that. Yeah, that's the first step to go. I speak on marketing and tech community building. Currently at Building Bytes, we have about 5,000 people in our community, which is, in a community like Ghana, is a really huge deal. Yeah, and I also do podcasting. I moderate tech events and panels. So if you want to connect with me and invite me, of course, you're welcome. Thank you for your time, and I'm open for questions.